Proton has one of the best free plans out there. It's built by CERN scientists, and it promises Swiss-level privacy protection. But is it actually the right VPN for you? Well, in this review, I'm breaking down everything you need to know. We're looking at the security features, we're checking the speed, whether it works with Netflix, and I'll show you how the free plan compares to the paid one. And most importantly, who should actually be using this VPN in the first place? Let's go. So before we get into the speeds and streaming, let me tell you why I even trust ProtonVPN in the first place. Because in this industry, I think trust is everything, right? And I've come across more than a few VPN companies that really don't deserve it. I'm really looking at you, Ola VPN. ProtonVPN was founded by scientists at CERN. Yeah, it's the same CERN that operates the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. And these guys weren't sitting around thinking about shareholder returns. They were thinking about protecting journalists and activists who needed secure communication. And that was back in 2017. And that origin story, well, it shaped essentially everything about how this company operates. Switzerland is the key here. I know everyone blabs about jurisdiction, myself included, because it's important, right? But there is a good reason for that. Switzerland has some of the strongest privacy laws in the world. No mandatory data retention, and they're outside the 5 Eyes, 9 Eyes, and 14 Eyes surveillance alliances. So, when ProtonVPN says they can't be forced to hand over your data, it's not just marketing speak, it's really backed by Swiss law. And here's something else I found during my research. ProtonVPN is majority owned by the Proton Foundation, and that's a nonprofit entity. You can trust the company acts with your best interest in mind instead of a greedy group of investors, essentially. And don't just take my word for it. They undergo regular independent audits, like the most recent one this year by Securitum, and that's a third-party security firm. Now let me address something I see in the comments all the time. Is ProtonVPN owned by Israel? No, it's not. Is it an American company? Also, no, it's not. It's Swiss. It's Swiss through and through. It's why actual journalists and activists use it. And I've seen ProtonVPN recommended for even human rights organizations, so it doesn't get more legit than that in my opinion. All right, time for my favorite part, which is security. Because honestly, what's the point of a VPN if it can't actually protect your data? And over the years, I've literally tested dozens of VPNs with Wireshark. And let me tell you, not all of them are created equal. So here is what I found with ProtonVPN. First, there is a no logs policy. And I actually read through their entire privacy policy. I read through it twice because, yeah, I'm serious about privacy, and sometimes I do need a cure for insomnia. And here is what ProtonVPN doesn't log: your browsing activity, your connection timestamps, your IP address, any session information. They literally can't track what you're doing online because, well, they're not recording it. But as we all know, words are cheap, and I think that's why audits matter so much. Remember that audit I mentioned? Well, it basically backed up these claims. No logs were ever found. Encryption was properly implemented, and this kind of transparency is super rare in the VPN industry. Plus, Proton is open source, so technically anyone can review the code, and yet another feather in Proton's transparency cap, in my opinion. Now, let me show you what happened essentially when I tested encryption with Wireshark. And here is what ProtonVPN looks like when it's connected. All my traffic is encrypted through AES 256-bit or SHA-20, and that's the type of encryption that would take millions of years to crack. Also, DNS requests go through ProtonVPN servers, not my ISPs. So everything looks rock solid here. Now, let's talk protocols for a sec. Proton VPN gives you a couple of options, as most VPN providers. So we have WireGuard for speed, we have OpenVPN for compatibility, and their own stealth protocol for bypassing VPN blocks in restrictive countries. Switching between them is quite easy. I just open the settings, click on protocol, and essentially here I pick the one I want. So WireGuard in this case gave me the best speeds in testing. But if you're in a country that blocks VPNs, then stealth is certainly your best friend. Proton also has split tunneling, and split tunneling works in both ways. Now, let me show you here how exactly what I mean. I can set it to exclude mode, and that means most apps go through the VPN except the ones I choose. Now, those will essentially use my regular connection to speed up the process, to make things more streamlined, or if you are using some weird banking applications that tend to block you if you access it from several locations, right? Okay. Or I can also flip it to include mode. Now, only the apps I select go through the VPN. Everything else uses my normal connection, and this is great if you want to protect specific apps, but keep your local network access for things like printers or maybe smart home devices. Most VPNs only give you one mode or the other, and Proton VPN gives you both. And Proton also boasts a cool feature called Secure Core. This is their double VPN setup, how you could call it. Your traffic routes through privacy-friendly countries first. Switzerland, yeah, very nice. Iceland, also good, and Sweden. And then it reaches your final destination. So even if an exit node gets compromised, well, your IP address stays hidden. And connecting to a secure core is actually quite easy. Let me show you. On the app, I click on the Secure Core tab. Then I select very easily the country I want. And look, see this little drop-down area here? You can actually see which servers your data goes through. And my connection went from Iceland to Frankfurt. Very convenient. Now, Proton also has specialty servers for, let's call it, specific use cases. So we have peer-to-peer servers for, obviously, torrenting, and we have Tor servers, so if you want to route through the Tor network. And I can also show you how that would look like here in the application. So you can see them right here in the app. So the peer-to-peer servers are clearly labeled, and so are the Tor servers. But here's something cool. Proton VPN also supports port forwarding, and that's huge for torrenting. Most VPNs don't really offer this. Well, you have to enable it in the settings, and it assigns you a port number that you can use in your torrent client for better connectivity. And one more thing, IPv6 support. Most VPNs just disable IPv6 entirely to prevent leaks. Proton VPN actually routes IPv6 traffic properly. All you have to do is essentially enable it in the settings like this. Oh, and you can also create custom connection profiles. Now, say you want one profile for streaming, here, another for torrenting, and maybe another for maximum security with Secure Core. You can save all these profiles like I have them here, and then switch between them with one click like this. It makes life really so much easier and saves me so much headache by not having to set up all the VPN connections all over again. Okay, Proton also has a kill switch. It's pretty easy to enable. Just very easy, click the kill switch icon, then choose standard or advanced, and then watch as I kill my connection. Boom! You can see all that internet traffic is disconnected. It stops. So no matter what you're doing, there are no leaks, there are no delays. It's just instant protection. Proton even has an ad blocker, which they call NetShield. It operates at the DNS level, which means it catches ads and trackers before they even reach your device. Well, let's see how this works, right? So on this test site, you can see it basically blocked a bunch of ads. There's like blank space in it where normally the ads would sit, right? Not too bad. I'm not bothered by it. I can read the content very easily. And my Firefox with uBlock Origin still, well, they caught a few more things that NetShield missed. But overall, for like a VPN all-in-one easy solution, I was pretty impressed. And yeah, if I don't have to pay for it extra, then I mean that's a great deal in my opinion. Now, let me spend a minute on the interface itself, because a VPN can have all the features in the world, but if it's really like a pain to use, I mean, what's the point, right? So the desktop app is super clean and modern looking. You've got a quick connect button right here. You have the server list on the left, and there's even a map for the quick connect feature if you don't feel like scrolling. And all your main features are accessible right from the home screen. See these icons here? So easy. Kill switch, secure core, NetShield. It's all basically just one click to access them and very, very easy to use. So the settings are organized into essentially logical tabs. We have general, we have connection, advanced, and everything has a description essentially explaining what it does. So there's no guesswork that you need to do what exactly this feature does, and you can play around with it and see if you find any use in all these features. Okay, the mobile app is even better. So we have a clean layout. It's super easy to navigate, and it has most of the same features as on desktop. Though I mentioned port forwarding in the beginning, and there are some advanced settings that are also missing, which are desktop only, that you cannot use on the mobile phone. All right, let's spend some time talking about Proton's plans, starting with the free version, because I know that's why a lot of you clicked on this video, because there is a high promise in this, free, not having to pay anything for a VPN, right? So Proton VPN's free plan is free forever. There's not a trial, and there's no expiration date. You don't need a credit card. You just create an account. You download the app, you start using it, and you're connected to a VPN. And here is the crazy part. You get unlimited bandwidth. There is no data cap. Most free VPNs give you like a few gigabytes per month and then essentially call it a day. So where is the catch? Because there's always a catch, right? If a product is so good that it's free even. So where is it? Well, it's this. Look, I only get access to 10 locations, which isn't really bad, but you can't really choose which one. So the free Proton automatically connects you to the fastest server, and that means if you need to access a specific Netflix library, you are probably out of luck, because that movie or that TV show that you want to stream might not be in one of these 10 servers that Proton VPN gets you. Plus, you can only connect one device. Also, no torrenting or peer-to-peer support, and no advanced features like Secure Core or NetShield. And that's obvious, because they need to protect their bandwidth, right, that they give to free users. And normally, and if you've watched my channel, I don't recommend free VPNs. Most sell your data, or they inject terrible ads, and that's how they make money. But Proton is different. They're using the free plan as a so-called loss leader. They want you to upgrade to paid eventually. And we know this concept from cloud storage, right, where you get 2 gigabytes for free, 5 gigabytes, or even 10 gigabytes for free, and then eventually the provider makes money because some percentage of the people are upgrading to a paid account. And speaking of paid plans, you can see here that Proton has a few options to choose from. Pricing runs around $3 to say $13 per month, depending essentially which plans you pick, and also a lot on the subscription length. With a paid plan, you get access to over 15,000 servers in more than 120 countries on 10 simultaneous device connections. So you'll also get torrenting, and you get the Plus, Secure Core, and NetShield features. So who should then use free versus paid? So if you just need casual browsing and you want just a little bit of privacy, good enough. Maybe occasional VPN use, or you just want to try before buy, see if the interface suits you, see if it's easy to use. Well, the free plan is rock solid, and it's perfect for basic privacy needs. But, and here comes where probably most of you come into play, if you want streaming, if you want torrenting, you travel frequently, you need maximum privacy features, or you've got multiple devices, well, you gotta consider upgrading to a paid plan. And as always, I've got the best deal for Proton VPN linked in the description box below, and I keep these links always updated with the latest promotions. So no matter if it's Black Friday, no matter if it's Christmas or Halloween or whatever promotion they're running, our links are always up to date. And there's a custom discount we negotiate specifically for our viewers. And after years in this VPN space, we've built relationships that let us secure better deals than you'll find elsewhere, but we're not sponsored by VPN providers. With your purchase, you're supporting the channel so that we can publish more of these videos. So thank you very much. Hey, time to crunch some numbers and see just how fast or maybe how slow Proton is. And I've tested this thing on a fairly slow internet connection. Without connecting to a Proton server, I got 31 megabits down, 11 megabits up, and 21 milliseconds ping. Then I connected to a nearby server. I got 34 megabits down, 10 megabits up, and 26 milliseconds ping. And that's basically no slowdown. So pretty good, right? Then I connected to a server on the opposite side of the planet, essentially. I still saw 31 megabits down and 10 megabits up, but the ping shot up to almost 600 milliseconds. And that latency is brutal. It's not really Proton VPN's fault. I mean, this is just physics. You're sending data halfway around the world, but the actual speeds, they held up surprisingly well. And here's the thing about speed. Proton VPN isn't the absolute fastest VPN out there. NordVPN, ExpressVPN, they do edge it out slightly. But for most people, I mean, the difference is pretty manageable. And I'm talking about whether you can stream in 4K or maybe even 8K if some providers offer that. And both are more than enough good quality for do anything that you want to do online, at least as of 2025. All right, it's streaming time because I know half of you are here to find out if it unblocks Netflix successfully. But did you also know that most of you watching this video right now are not subscribed? It would be great if you could help me grow the channel. So leave your like, leave your subscribe, and especially hit the bell icon if you like these reviews and find them valuable and want more of it. Thank you very much. So, Netflix on the paid plan, let's try it out. You can see here I am connected to a US server. So pretty standard. You can choose any US server that's available for now. Usually they all work with Netflix. Now, I'll log into Netflix, into US Netflix, because now I'm getting a US IP address, right? And when I'm then connected, Netflix shows me the library of that country that I'm connected to. I don't need a US Netflix account. I just need the IP address to unlock the catalog, right? And there you go. I'm in. Obviously, it's streaming in full quality. And I also tested UK Netflix, I tested BBC iPlayer, I tested HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus. I tested all of the streaming services. And yeah, now that you're asking, the streaming bill for me is adding up quite a bit. So that's why subscribing to the channel always supports me to do these tests, so that I can tell you whether if you are a US customer and you're traveling to Europe or abroad, you can still access your streaming services with a given VPN. And with Proton VPN, there's little to no buffering. I didn't see, in my testing at least in the last few weeks, any quality drops. Everything streamed pretty smoothly. You might wonder if Proton VPN is the absolute best and ultimate VPN for streaming. And for my time and money, I'd probably say NordVPN and Surfshark have slightly more consistent unblocking. I've tested all of them extensively here in my office and at home, on my Apple TV, and on my routers. So they work a bit more, I would say, flawlessly. But Proton VPN is definitely in the top tier. If streaming isn't your primary use case, it'll get the job done for the occasional movie that you want to watch on a Netflix US catalog. It may seem like Proton VPN is the best all-around option you can get. And well, let me be straight with you about the downsides as well, because we want to be transparent. Because no VPN is perfect and Proton VPN has some legitimate weaknesses. You know what doesn't have any weaknesses? Well, it's our newsletter. It's a great way to get a roundup of all of our recently published videos, of all the online security tools that I'm using personally, and new ones that I discover on a weekly basis. It's just a small email that you're getting, and obviously you can opt out anytime if you don't feel it's valuable, but I would be so happy to see you on the other side. And now, with that shameless plug out of the way, let's continue. So Proton VPN's price isn't really the cheapest. Surfshark offers lower prices for similar features, and if you're on a tight budget, it might be a better option, and we also have links for Surfshark in the description box below, also obviously with a great deal for you. And as I said before, Proton VPN speed is good, but it's not the absolute fastest. And if you are a speed demon who needs every last of megabit, if you are a hardcore nerd gamer who needs the ping to be extremely low, then yeah, go with the big ones, go with NordVPN or ExpressVPN. They might edge it out just slightly, but for most people, really, this won't matter. The free plan limitations, at least in the last few weeks that I've been playing around with it, can be a little bit frustrating. So if you're trying to test out streaming or if you want torrent, you can't actually evaluate those without paying for Proton VPN. And that's intentional on their part, but yeah, it's still annoying. So you might ask, is there a best VPN? Now, not really. I hate to say it, and I know you're here for guidance, but I have to say it depends. And it depends on your priorities. Privacy versus speed versus price versus streaming. You got to figure out what matters most to you, and then you check out the video I've got right here, or you check out all the other videos that I have, so that will certainly help you to make the right decision for you. So by now, it's clear that Proton VPN is not for everyone, but let me give you like a few hints, a few suggestions if you've stuck with me so far in this video. Anyone who values online privacy, yeah, Proton VPN essentially tops the list. It's the obvious choice if you care more about keeping your data away from prying eyes than whether you can download a movie in 30 seconds versus 35 seconds. And the same goes for any open source advocates. Journalists or activists, yeah, you should seriously consider Proton VPN. The secure core feature, that alone, I think it's worth it. And this is one of the few VPNs I actually trust with extremely sensitive work. And for those of you who want a free VPN, well, then Proton VPN is a great option. It covers basic privacy needs, no data caps, no ads. It's not going to give you streaming or torrenting, but for casual browsing privacy, yeah, it's pretty perfect. I also didn't touch on this one yet, but Proton VPN has a large ecosystem of other applications, and I actually use some of them. Now, Proton Mail is their encrypted email service. It's quite excellent. We got end-to-end encryption, zero-knowledge access encryption, meaning even Proton VPN cannot read your emails, unlike maybe Gmail, who's going to use your emails to teach their AI algorithms. And I've been using it for years now, and I always have complaints, but I have very few complaints. If you're interested in my complaints about Proton Mail, please leave me a comment so we can make a video about Proton Mail if you're interested about that product. Oh, and then there is Proton Drive. It's their cloud storage. Think of it like a Google Drive, like a Dropbox, but it's super encrypted. So maybe more similar to sync.com that we also like very much in our other channel, which you can check out right here. Your files are super encrypted before they leave your device. It's not quite as fast, obviously, as Google Drive, but the privacy trade-off, in my opinion, is absolutely worth it. Then, something I really could not live without anymore is Proton Pass, which is their password manager. It's launched a bit more recently. I've been testing it alongside my main password manager, which currently is 1Password, because I have a Corex with 1Password. I'm not 100% happy, and I'm always like shopping around to see if there's a better option. It's solid. It autofills almost everything in my browser well. There's cross-platform synchronization, obviously super important because I have like 1 billion devices and I need all my passwords available immediately. And built-in two-factor authentication, also very important. It's not as obviously as feature-rich as 1Password or maybe Bitwarden yet, but I think we're getting there, Proton VPN. All right, guys. I know this video has been quite long already, but here's my final verdict on Proton VPN. In a VPN market full of questionable players with, let's call it murky ownership and shady data practices, well, Proton VPN stands out as the one you can actually trust. It is not perfect by any means. The speeds could be much faster. The price could be much lower, obviously, but it's built by people who care about privacy, and in 2025, that's increasingly rare and very valuable. So, if this helped you figure out whether Proton VPN is right for you, you just gotta subscribe to our channel for more honest VPN reviews where I actually test this stuff instead of just reading spec sheets and websites. Drop me a comment below if you're using Proton VPN or if you've got questions about how it compares to other options. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. As always, bye-bye.